Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. Just doing a video on this truck that I'm towing out of Copart, which is a salvage yard out of East St. Louis. Anyways, I'm hauling it from the front because the wheel, it was obviously in an accident, but the wheel, there is no front wheel. Guy bought this truck for 25 grand. Couldn't believe it when I saw it. I'm like, oh God. Anyways, proper way to just take so your mud flaps aren't dragging on the ground. And this is the reason why I can't tow it from the front. So, I think I'm pretty good on my height. Again, went over around the axle, and then I took the spare because my chain was too short because I had to choke it up because of it kept binding on that brush guard right there. So what I did was I just obviously went through there, and then I ran the other one over the spring and then under the spring, and then brought it up, and then I just went on there for my safety chain. I might end up bringing it up one more notch, that last notch right there. I might end up just bringing it on there, but yeah, you can see this thing is not healthy. 2018, the guy says he's gonna fix it up. Wow, that's crazy, but hey, better him than us, right? So anyways, so the steering assembly was all busted off, so I had to hold that up with a strap, and then the bumper. I could have just cut this off, but I don't know. I don't like doing that to customers' trucks. I mean, in case he's he's gonna have to replace the whole bumper, but I don't want the guy to be like, oh, you cut that off, so I'm gonna take money off. Anyways, you'd be surprised what people will do when it comes to money. Anyways, so you could see my mark right there on the ground. The brake kept locking up. It would not release. If you guys ever have to do this, that bolt in there's every brake chamber. You can see that hole right here, over my finger. There's a long rod that's got like a flat end on it. You stick that inside there, and then you tighten it down, and it squeezes the spring, which releases your brakes. But when a truck sits for so long, the brake pads like weld themselves to the drum. And if you don't know anything about trucks, this is the brake pad. There's one here, and then there's one on the bottom, and then obviously this is your drum. You can see it better from there. So you can see your brake pad, that piece right there, and then your drum. But anyways, man, your best thing to do whenever you have a frozen brake drum or a pad onto a brake drum, take WD-40 or liquid wrench, and you got to spray it the whole entire length of the pad, and then you really got to spray it on the drum so that it actually, you can see where the drum's all wet down there, because I spray it and I let so say my hand, see, this is the brake pad, right? What I do is I spray it on the drum so gravity brings the oil down, and it kind of gets between the brake pad and the drum. Anyways, finally released, and then sometimes you got to beat it with a hammer. I mean, it really was a bitch, man. I was sitting here for a few hours, man. I got here, what time is it? I finished about a half hour ago, and I cleaned up. So actually, I think it was about 3 o'clock is when I finished, about 3 o'clock. So I was here for about 5 hours, 5.5 hours, trying to get these brakes to release. Also, whenever you tow a truck, you're supposed to, DOT regs, a lot of guys don't, I mean, people just free up the brakes, but this is your front brake chamber. And obviously, if I were to pick up the truck from the rear and then your two front steers were on the ground, there on the Pro Tote, you take your regular line out and then you hook right into your brake chamber with your air line, and that gives your towed tractor brakes. That's a DOT reg. You can't just free up the brakes and let them run. So I kind of faked the funk on this one because the brakes were I mean, they just would not free up. I'm just hoping that this, I mean, I can't believe a 2018 truck and they got a tire like this. That's crazy to me. Anyways, but so what I did was, obviously you got your brake chambers, you got 4 of them, one for each set of wheels. And what I did was, because I've never towed an air brake truck, obviously on my one video I did those wood chipping trucks over in Michigan. This is going to Interlochen, Michigan, which I've never heard of before. It's north of Cadillac, Michigan, I guess. So anyways, so I've never towed a tractor from the front, but obviously on this one I had to. So what I did was, this assembly, this obviously my electrical line and my light bar came with the unit, and then these 2 high pressure hoses for your brake lines, and then this splitter right here, and then there's a quick release right here. So basically that runs all the way down the truck, and then I hook the air lines into the towing tractor. So never done this before, but it was nice because on the newer brake chambers, you can see down there where it says spring brake and then service brake. So the service brake, I didn't even pay attention to that. I didn't even see it. So I kind of rolled the dice. That's why I disconnected that line right there and that line right there, because I thought that I rolled the dice, and I didn't even pay attention to the top of the brake chamber that said service brake. For future reference, if for you guys that are watching this, your service brake is your foot pedal brake. So that's actually what they call the service pedal, or the service brake. So anytime you see a service brake line, that goes to your brake pedal. So what I had to do was I took my splitter, and you can see now I went right into there. I had to remove the fittings because my fittings were on these hoses, my hose was too big. That's what she said. So I had to take the fittings out, and then and those things were, oh my God, they were on there so tight, and I couldn't get a socket over it because I didn't have a big enough socket. So I had to get up underneath there with a channel or a vice grip and a hammer, and just, oh my God, they were on them, they were like welded. I was like, holy shit. But anyways, so you can see my line right here comes up, and then comes down and goes into there. And then this one goes all the way there and right down into there. And then my quick release goes here. So what happens is this line comes from my tractor out of my air line, and then it feeds these 2 hoses, which give me brakes on those 2 brake chambers. I still have them spun out. I still have the studs in both sides to release the brakes. I'm pretty sure I still got brakes on them, because these brakes, man, I got them pulled all the way back, man, and can you see that? Get a little bit of, can't really tell, but the brake shoe is just barely off the drum, man. So I don't know if it's the automatic slack adjuster or something's just too, I don't know, but with that thing running that close to the let me see if I can. With that thing running that close off the drum, when I hit my brakes, I should have brakes. So I'm gonna do that right now for you guys. So like I said, anytime you're hauling, because nobody showed me this. I looked on YouTube, I looked on everything. Nobody has done a video that I could see anyways that showed how to tow or how to hook your brakes in. See, what these guys are doing is they're just releasing the brakes. So like I said, so if you want to, wouldn't really say it's hard to explain, but that stud down there, that threaded line, right, that threaded bolt, it goes inside the brake chamber, and then there's a little flat head. You got to fit it into an opening. So there's a thin opening. When I pull it off, maybe I'll show you guys when I drop the truck off. But there's a thin little piece, and it goes right inside the spring chamber, the brake chamber, and then you turn it to the right, and then you take the washer and the nut and you crank it down, and that it pulls. What it does is that spring is fully extended like this, and that's how you get brakes. So when that bolt slides all the way in there, and then you put your washer and your nut on there, when you it's like you're tightening it down. When you're tightening it, the spring is like this, and as you tighten it, the spring closes, which actually opens the brake shoe on the drum. So I barely am touching down there. So I'm gonna have brakes. I'm gonna actually test that right now, but I wanted to do a video on it because nobody shows how to hook into the brake chambers on the rear of a tractor. Now the front, I won't have both axles with brakes. So this one here, I'm not hooked up to. And that one over there, I'm not hooked up to. So this front axle does not have brakes. It does not have brakes. But DOT says I only need to have a set of brakes. So not two sets of brakes, but a set of brakes. So because this truck, the laden weight on this truck is probably about 18,000 pounds, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prop my brake on my truck, and I'm going to see on that gap. I don't know. Yeah, I can see you have a gap right down in there where the brake pad touches the drum. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put my tire thumper and wedge it between my seat and my brake pad or my brake pedal. And I'm going to see if that closes up. And I know I'm getting air back here because I left that one line off. And when I engaged my brake, I heard air pissing out of that hose. So I know I'm getting air back here. I know for a fact I am. But, and then, so this stuff here was super, super wobbly, and that whole piece up there was just, I mean, if I would have went down the interstate and I didn't do any of this, I would bet money on that whole piece would fly off, and that guy wouldn't be happy that his APU is laying on the interstate. And I don't want to get a citation either. So, excuse me. Not like this job paid $1 gazillion anyways. I don't know. Sometimes I really could shoot and kick myself in the ass. That's how you can wedge your brake. To check your lights, your brake lights, obviously. And I've already checked everything to make sure the light bar and everything works. So, and I do have one light out that's here for the brake light, but yep, you can see that gap closed up. The gap's gone. If you guys, why is my phone getting blurry? There was a gap between the brake pad and the drum right there. Come on, man, really? Yeah, right there was a gap between the drum and the brake pad, and now there's not. Same thing on that side. So now I know I'm getting applied brakes. So I'm good with DOT specs. So once again, nobody's, like I said, at least that I could see, and that's why I do these videos for people, because if I go online and I can't find a video, that's how I actually started my YouTube channel. Was I looked and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find anything. So then I was like, and even the stuff that I did find, they weren't explanatory. They had one guy that was towing with a Pro Tote unit, and we own this, so we rent it out. If you guys ever need to rent it, we charge $250 a day and a cash deposit for the hydraulic pump. My number is 414-477-7845. Our shop is in Burlington, Wisconsin. Anyways, so like I said, when I go online, if I don't see a video, I'll do a video just to help people out, because I'm not just going to be one of those guys that sits there and says, oh, I figured it out, let somebody else figure it out. That's what's so great about YouTube. So anyways, so like I said, so to recap, the black and the red line come down the side of the truck. One is for the power bar. The other one, the red one, is for my brakes. This splitter, one side goes in there, and the brake chamber on the service side of the brake. Not the spring side, the service side. The spring side is for your valve, your dash valve, your dash brake. I believe that's what the spring brake is for. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a mechanic and I don't pretend to be one. But I'm pretty sure, and it says right there, spring brake. Yeah, spring brake and service brake. You can see it on the brake chamber there. So once again, so make sure you go to the service side of the brake chamber, not the spring side, the service side. Okay, that's your foot pedal. Anyway, so that's it. And then, like, I just got to check to make sure that this is pretty tightened up. But other than, I better go and release my brakes. Like I said, I may have to bring the front end up a little bit. But I don't want to get too high up top there because I don't want to hit a bridge. So I think I'm good. My clearance looks pretty good. So that's it, guys. Just wanted to share another video with you guys, and that's it. If you guys have any questions or comments, you guys can feel free to call me or text me. Good luck with this guy with the truck, and the inside's a freaking wreck. Oh my God, the dash is all screwed up. They really, it's horrible. Anyway, oh, one more thing. So this right here, that tire, that rim actually had one of these air deflectors, or whatever they call them, these hubcaps, and it was all busted. I mean, busted to shit. And this whole entire rim was caked with like this much hard dirt with huge rocks in it. And this one was as well. Do not roll down the road with all that debris in that rim. Still a little bit in there. I mean, they were huge rocks. I mean, like this big. Don't roll down the road like that, man. If DOT's, I don't understand how DOT would let these other trucks. Oh shit! I hope that's fucking not going to be a problem. Oh man, this is. I don't feel good about this fucking tow, man. I really fucking don't. I really fucking don't. This is just a fucking disaster, man. And I don't know. The guy didn't show me the back of the truck when I gave him a price to tow it, because he didn't feel comfortable towing it. Go figure. But anyways, he didn't give me a picture of the back. He gave me just the front picture. So I didn't really know how bad. This tire's pretty shady. And this one's pretty shady with that big groove in it. I just have to do a prayer, man, that this shit, nothing goes wrong with this. So just take it slow and go down the interstate. But anyways, don't roll down the interstate with big ass pieces of mud and rock in the rims. It's going to come out eventually, and you're going to end up screwing up my truck or somebody else's truck or a windshield or whatever, man. So do your due diligence, man, and don't be lazy. So anyways, I hope this video found you well. I hope it was informative. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.